Bringing the vision into a mission. This is Global Mission of Peace with the GoldFish Report, recorded on September 10th, 2015. I am Radagast, and I'm here with Louisa on Media Outreach.
Hello.
And Sherry Beal with Your Right to Know.
It's a pleasure. Welcome to our GoldFish Report today.
And Sanjay, the wonder from down under.
G'day, g'day, g'day. From Cairns today.
Our European correspondent, Stephen.
Hi there from Europe.
And the keen intellect and the warm heart of the ambassador of the Dragon family.
Welcome, everyone. Today is going to be an interesting discussion. It's going to be talking about inner peace. And we start with something that is not so much inner peace, and that's the situation of outreach that True Vision of Peace are doing together with Kev Baker and with Steve. And so could you guys tell me a little bit about it?
Well, what we have planned to help the Syrian refugees is we've organized with, we're organizing with a group in Europe, thanks to Steve, and we're also organizing with the Kev Baker show. And so stay tuned, because we're going to, in our next GoldFish Report, give the details for what and how people can help the Syrian refugees. And so we're going to organize a clothing drive, because basically these people have come with virtually just the clothes on their backs. They don't have, even food, so food's going to be an issue for some other aid organizations to help out with. But what we can do is, I ask each and every person who's watching this to go into your closet, find an old coat, a winter coat, maybe boots, shoes, something. It's going to start getting cold in the climate where the refugees I don't know if they're going to be staying. I'm not sure how long they'll be there for, but they need clothes. And there's babies and there's children who need supplies for that age. And we need to really reach into our hearts and, help these people as much as we can. So start to gather, go into your closet, start to gather what you can that you can spare, and keep it aside. And then in our next GoldFish Report, we're going to announce what you can do with it. And I think we all have to take the spirit of taking responsibility for our brothers and sisters, and what we can each do individually to do that, and to extend, be the good Samaritan that all religions really talk about. So with that, I'd like to pass that back to the ambassador.
Yes, Steve, can you explain a little bit what you and Kev are going to do in Europe?
Yes, well, the idea is to collect these clothes. It's already starting to get cold here, not very cold, but these people come from a very different climate. So we're looking at the charity organizations here in Germany to begin with, and then depending on how many France takes on, how many Austria takes on, the other countries, we'll maybe look at them as well. But as I'm now in Germany at the moment, it's a good place to start, and we'll go through the churches, Caritas I'm looking at, to see if they're willing to accept clothes, because they have to accept them. I don't have distribution myself, but we'll look at where the best possible ways to distribute clothes, even donations for food as well, and as these people are being processed.
Very good, very good. Well, we're going to try to set something to rise up with food aid also to come.
So Kev Baker is going to make an announcement on his show as well, in terms of once we get all the details laid out, then you can tune into Kev Baker on the the Truth Frequency Radio, I think it is, and he's out of Scotland. So, but I'm sure it's on the internet, so anybody can listen to it, and so stay tuned for either from details for us. So we'll have two channels that will be disseminating this information. So it'll be through the Kev Baker show, and it's also going to be through the Global Mission of Peace, through the GoldFish Report. So we will be reporting on that as soon as we have the details. And hopefully that will be very soon, because these people are really in need.
Yes. May I also add that, as I know from past actions of refugees from North Africa, for instance, some of these charity organizations, they have too much of certain things. So I'm in the process of contacting them, asking them exactly what they do need. So there may be specific things they do need. They may have enough clothes. I don't know yet. But I'll continue reporting as to what they need as soon as I get the information. That's all.
That's great.
Yes.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
And I think, Steve, you mentioned you're going to make sure to go through an organization so that the supplies get to the end point without someone sort of grabbing them off the truck in between.
We don't want any dubious middleman. We want the goods to reach the person that's intended for. That's right.
Absolutely. You know, this just it makes me think of, you know, how when people unite in time of war and it's all organized and, you know, everyone's going through training and everyone is given a unique mission to fight for. And so it always makes me think that when we have something like this happening on the planet, which is very unfortunate, but the upshot of it is that people are uniting to help other people, and that I think a lot of us need something to, like a mission, something to work towards, and a catalyst. There you go. And so in this case, this is a catalyst, and like Dr. Wayne Dyer, who just recently passed away, August 29th, if you're familiar with him. Dr. Wayne Dyer, he was living in Maui, and on August 29th, he was about 75 years old, and he had a heart attack and passed away. And he spoke a lot about helping others, you know, about your authentic self is way beyond your ego, and that by helping others, it really empowers us, and it frees us of our ego. And I think this is wonderful what you guys are organizing here. And, you know, I just would like for we the people to unite even more, you know, and not have to have negative catalysts, but have things that we're fighting for, uniting. And in closing, I think we begin with doing service to others. When I do something for someone else, it really warms my heart. It makes me feel, I don't know, this other level of love, this almost like empowerment, you know? And I just think we should carry that into our daily lives in little teeny ways. I try to do that whenever I can.
And Sanjay.
Yeah, guys, just giving is one of the best way of healing. It's one of the best way of service to humanity. Some of us have a lot of things in abundance, and we still complain because we think we don't have everything. But spare the thought for those who have left, like as I said, just on the clothes on their back, you know. So whichever way we can help, let's find out from Steve and let's help, you know. I mean, let's give hope to the society.
Aside from clothing, I mean, how can we help them? Do you think that we can help them find inner peace in any way? I mean, they're really in dire straits. Is there any way to help people in that situation on a soul, on a spiritual level? What do you think?
Well, I've been adding them to my prayers, and the Creator who created all of us has all the answers. We don't. So in the prayers, basically, He knows what He's doing. Things happen for a reason, and basically, I just say to people, pray. Let's pray for peace. Let's pray for removing of ignorance. Let's forgive. Let's, you know, forgive so we can heal in inner peace, as what the ambassador said, you know.
You know, unless the ambassador wants to jump in, all these things, like we've been talking about the refugees in Syria, obviously, and but I think we're understanding that whenever something like this happens, it's normally orchestrated from the top for a particular reason, which we can't necessarily clearly see at the get-go. So there is a crisis that's created from the people at the top who are running the planet, and there's a certain agenda which they want which they're hoping to incite. And perhaps it's taking away more of our freedoms, being able to spy more on people, there's a whole list of things, and we've seen it in history. But what we can do, that is the question. What can we do to not feed the fuel or the flames of this trickery, if you will? And I think that's what we're discussing here. We can help other human beings. We can not feed the fear, not feed the anger. We can have forgiveness, and we can come together as human beings and help each other through this, dissipating those negative, those other vibrations, and expanding, the vibrations of love and healing and forgiveness.
Well, Sherry, I think one of the ways that we get through the trickery is realizing that, yes, we were genetically altered 220,000 years ago, but how did they alter us? They altered us in a manner that would make us smart enough to work and be their slaves, debt slaves, but not smart enough to figure out what they're doing and who they are. So that's why many people have a difficult time waking up and coming to see the truth of reality, of what's behind the wars, why the wars. And quite frankly, it's a very dark truth, and a lot of people can't handle it, quite honestly. So it has to be kind of approached, I think, in a stepping manner. Kind of dropping this bombshell on people is quite difficult. So I think even through the GoldFish reports, we can play a role on informing and educating people. And when the ambassador says a war on ignorance, he's not referring to people being stupid. We have been genetically altered so that we're not as smart as we could be, because we're still here. We haven't figured out who the real controllers are on the planet. Most of us haven't. For those of us who have, we can't wait for this to get over with. We can't wait for humanity to wake up so we can all rise in consciousness, because our consciousness, our collective consciousness together can make so much change. And if we understood that, and if we weren't restricted by the dogmas of religion, and of course the religion was created, and of course I'm going to let the ambassador explain this, because he's really a scholar on this, why we have Satan and what that has caused in society, and how we have disconnected from our creator. So I'm going to let the ambassador explain a little bit about that.
Yes, basically the word Satan or shaitan means obstacle. So basically he was put there as an obstacle between men. And he is the creator of religion. He is the ultimate creator of Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, whatever you want to call it. And also he's an obstacle between men of races too, okay? And so basically what we need to do is to break down these obstacles and unify. And the only way they've been able to control us is by always keeping us in fear for breaking our dogmas that is in these organized religions. Now, I don't say that persons that is part of these organized religions might be bad, but unfortunately the system and the structure of it, it's satanic. Okay. Now, what is important here for our thing is that we're talking about how can we find peace? How can we find inner peace? And I think by giving from our hearts and by asking people for forgiveness. When you go to a refugee and you give him some clothes and you say, I'm sorry, he's probably going to be traumatized and say, why are you saying I'm sorry? I said, I'm sorry that I couldn't do anything to stop you from coming here. Okay? You belong where you belong, but unfortunately I couldn't do anything to stop. So the smallest thing I can do is my contribution with this and maybe some money. And I just pray that you can forgive me. And by asking for forgiveness, he will ask you for forgiveness. Basically, we need to forgive each other. We need to break down this hostility between nations, hostility between people and religions, and unify and ask for forgiveness. Many times I have been doing that with many people from different religions. People say, oh, I have nothing to forgive about. And all of us have something to forgive about. None of us are perfect. None of us is 100% correct. So I think what we should do here in this race is to actually go out, raise as much things I'm going to do myself. I'm going to put through my wardrobe and donate clothes and shows to these people and some funds and most important some other things to assist them. But I'm going to do that, and when I go there, I'm going to ask them for forgiveness. And people are going to say, "Oh, but ambassador has been against all the wars and staunch." So yeah, but I didn't do enough to make it stop. Okay, so for that I want to ask for forgiveness, and I want us to create a brotherhood religion between everyone, that we all unify as party as humans, and stop looking at them as Muslims or as Christians or as Africans or as Arabs or whatever. They are breathing and eating and shitting and seeing human beings just like us. Okay, they're just as a goldfish like anyone else in goldfish bar. So we need to help each other now, and by that we will find inner peace. And also I think it's important that the Pope are stating that it's no hell, and that is a great thing. You understand? He actually spent some time reading the Torah. There is no hell. And the thing is important is that we have been always trying to keep people in fear. The real hell we have on the planet. So now it's time for bringing the hell that is on the planet back to a paradise like in Eden, where we can live together in peace and enjoy everything given to us by the Creator on the surface. Use the technologies, eat the food, and allow the animals to also have living standards. And definitely not letting our brothers and sisters from all around the world needing to, die in the struggle of just trying to find peace. Let's go together and make peace, and with all forces and powers that we have, make sure to have all politicians accountable so that they cannot continue to aggress some people so that they have to leave their houses and the lands and having the families. People die because of their greed for money, and that's what we're facing. So unfortunately, since we haven't arrested these people, since they've done nothing to stop these attacks that they've been doing, we have allowed them to continue their madness, and we have to ask for forgiveness for that, and we need to disempower these insane people running our countries. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. We're going to see what Steve, did you have some comments you wanted to make?
Yes. I basically in complete agreement with everything that's been said before, but a few things occurred to me as well. Obviously, I agree that compassion, forgiveness, understanding for your fellow man is all part of the future that I'd like to see for humanity. And also we have been, as far as I can understand, been artificially divided. We live in a world of duality. We live in the universe of duality. We live in this dimension, and our silence to injustice is complicity. It's actually allowing them to continue if we know, and so we have to enlighten others so they can also make the choice and speak out and maybe and change. As the ambassador said, we need to lock these people up. We need to hold them accountable for their crimes. So this is the duality that we live in. And the other thing that occurred to me earlier was that we do, in the higher dimensions, as far as I remember, and I haven't been there in a while, but it's all one. We're all one. We're the same here. We're all one. We're just divided in our heads artificially. So the thing is, we want to regain this state of oneness, but we've chosen to do it through this incredible journey, this difficult journey of duality, of being artificially divided in our heads. So, and a channeling that I read, whether it's true or not, whether it came from the Pleiades, whoever says it's true, but what they said was that all these struggles that we have now, if we overcome them, in the end, we'll thank the controllers for putting us through this. In a way, we'll thank them because we've bettered ourselves and we've improved ourselves beyond our wildest dreams. But we're still at the stage of shaking off, the fleas. We've got to shake off the fleas. That's what we need to do now. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, that's going to be a hard pill for people to swallow, I think, that we would be thanking these people. But some people may have a little difficulty
if you go through a difficult divorce, you won't understand till you're through it. It's the same thing.
Right.
But at the end, you're a better person for it because you've gone through the process.
Right, but weren't we
I
good
agree.
before we were genetically manipulated? We were pretty good then, though, weren't we? So I don't know.
Yes, but we went further down into the depths of darkness, but
Sure.
not through our own choice. But maybe at some level we did choose. I don't know. I don't know yet. I
Right.
haven't got expanded awareness to see it all. But at some point, I think maybe, you know, it's like when you look to your childhood, you go through experiences. At the time, you think, why am I doing this? And then you're stronger. But you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's what we're doing now. We're coming through this fever. We're going through a fever right now. And once we get through the delirium of the fever, I think we'll start realizing how powerful we are, and we'll take back our power. That's the thing. But we have to fight the struggle and fight through the fever. Otherwise, we may die. That's what it's life or death. At a very high fever, it's life or death.
Well, we did say in our last GoldFish report that this really seems like the last battle for humanity.
It's what it looks like. Yeah, because the technology is so far advanced now that it's so dangerous.
We're definitely at a crescendo.
Yeah.
And this is
Also, I wanted to
Sanjay?
say,
Oh, wait, I think the ambassador wants to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that today we will not go through many of the news things. There's a lot of news things that we need to address, but today I wanted to speak about the outreach to help actually these people. And tomorrow I would like to speak on the other GoldFish part about the human trafficking situation and some of the world events that we're facing. And there also we have the same situation, people being abused for human trafficking. How can they reconcile with their aggressors? How can we shift and change? How can we heal the wounds? And I think this is what is very important here, what all of us are saying here, that especially when you said, how can we forgive these people for what they did? And it's going to be hard to do, but if you ask them for forgiveness, then basically maybe you open that heart for them to ask for forgiveness too. Then we really can actually get inner peace. But if no one starts it, no one will do it. So we have to go with good example and really start embracing forgiveness. Sorry, Sanjay, you're right.
Like one of the things we've called people to task on this program. You've done it with the Pope and stuff. When we call people to task, I think when they actually do something, we need to acknowledge it, and more power to them kind of scenario. So going down that path, we need to acknowledge people that are doing good things. Sometimes it will traumatize people. Sometimes the truth is something not everyone can handle, but it is part of healing.
So what do we anticipate from the Pope coming next week with his Jubilee speech?
Yeah, I believe that he will follow the family's instructions. This is what I pray for and hope. I hope that he will rise up against financial tyranny, and that he will rise up against human trafficking, and that he will rise up against the wars that we have, both the financial war and other wars, and including the refugee crisis. And I don't think that people should be so traumatized when he says things that Adam and Eve was just a story, and it's no hell, because that basically proves the point that he actually was reading the Torah. And in the Torah is no hell; it's only in the Bible. So, and if Adam and Eve existed or not, actually it doesn't matter, because it is the teachings of the parables of the story that's important, not actually the people in itself. Okay, so actually, people are putting the focus and aggressing on him for actually telling them the truth, but that's a part of a war on ignorance. So it seems to me that the Pope also is waging a war on ignorance, and I hope that we will do it together and to find a better solution for humanity. Here it's all about repurposing things and work together. And if he's ready to take the steps to change humanity together with us, I'm so happy for that, and he's a part of the team. If he doesn't, and he wants to continue aggressing on people or being a bad person, then we need to deal with it from that time. But from that time, from now, he has been doing things that he's supposed to do, and I will give him a chance. Okay, and I pray that this meeting will be a meeting of canceling the old covenants of human elimination. Okay?
Well, what I think we want to do is, Sherry, I wanted to give you a chance to respond to some of this.
Well, what comes up here is, I think one of the easiest ways to conquer people is to divide them. And this is what we've been discussing today. And I think that it probably behooves certainly me and many of us to maybe start putting this certain pair of glasses on as we go through our day and see all the different ways that division comes up in our lives. Whether it's on TV saying, oh, these Muslims, you know, the Christians and the Muslims, and the way religions are dividing people, the way people make fun of and laugh at other cultures, any type of division. And I think we need to start being aware of this, because if we don't allow that trickery to take hold of us, and we unite and work together and don't allow ourselves to be divided in these many, many ways that we've so been programmed to be divided, I think we can start flipping the coin here. We're definitely at, when I say a crescendo, this is a good thing. It's really difficult what we're going through. We're getting ready to pull through on the other side. We want to create the Eden that the ambassador just mentioned, the paradise, which I believe and I know this earth is our paradise. I don't have to die to go there. I'm here. We just need to create it. So if we can just start in a simple way of being aware of how we are programmed to be divided and not allow it, then we can certainly unite down the right path that we have the opportunity right now at this time on this planet to go.
So, Steve, did you want to comment?
Well, it just occurred to me, divide. That's what the British Empire, they actually had this motto, divide and rule. They went into India, they basically dominated a subcontinent with a few thousand soldiers. It wasn't a lot of people. They divided and ruled. That's what they did. And it occurred to me also that Gandhi, I mean, he defeated them through peaceful means, through a power of ideas. And let me quote Gandhi on forgiveness. This is absolutely brilliant. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. So, I mean, we have sort of like an idea there from him. Maybe we just need to remember what he did. He defeated what appeared to be an impossibly powerful force at the time, and we can do the same. We can. That's all I wanted to say.
Very good, thank you.
That's wonderful. Well, this is a short GoldFish report today, and what we wanted to do was emphasize the outreach that we're going to try to encourage everybody to become involved in. You can also make comments. Now, the GoldFish report is posted all over the world. We have, I will give you a count next time how many countries that this report is posted in, and it's many on the planet. So what can we all do individually to contribute to help these people, and not just the Syrian refugees. There's African refugees, you know, basically wherever there's no centralized banking system, those countries have been bombed, coincidentally or not coincidentally. So those people are all in need of help, and I think that we need to all realize that it's our responsibility. There's lots of clothes that people don't wear. There's lots of clothes that are sitting in your closet right now that you'll never touch again, and you know you're never going to get into again. So cough it up and help somebody who really needs it. And stay tuned. And if you have names of organizations or ideas, or you know someone organizing in your area, feel free to mention it in the comments section below this video, and let us know what you're doing in your area, and please share with us what you may know that people in your area may be doing to help, and how we can all pull together more, because these people don't want to go another day without a clean pair of pants or shoes. It's, you know, Steve is saying it's starting to become cold, and this is a really dire situation, and none of us want to be in it, not one of us. So I want to also remind everyone that we want to also, the special guests that we have come on the GoldFish Report are people who are trying to help humanity, trying to get a message out. And if you want us to continue to bring that kind of information to you, by all means, support the guests that we've had on this show by visiting their websites. We've had Kev Baker come on the show, and Kev Baker has his radio show, the Kev Baker Show, and follow Kev because he's got great interviews all the time. He provides great information. Support his programming. We've had Captain Randy Kramer on our GoldFish Report. He has a website called earthcitizenconsulting.org. And if you like the kind of information and programming that Randy provides and you want to hear more of that, please visit his website and support his work and his mission. And as far as the GoldFish Report is concerned, I want to thank all the people who are following us and who are new subscribers. And we appreciate you visiting and watching the GoldFish Report. And we also appreciate your comments, the intelligent ones, of course. And we like to make sure we don't have too many goldfish posting on our page. But we welcome everybody. And I wanted to just see if anyone else had any closing comments that they'd like to make.
No, it will be more coming up tomorrow at the GoldFish Report on Friday. And that will be more political, and some other guests, and hopefully Steve can be back with us that time too. So let's pray for a good day and for a good mission, and we'll see you back at the GoldFish Report very soon. God bless.
Okay. Does anyone have any other closing comments? Would you like to, Steve?
Yes, I'd just like to reiterate, we're going to find out what's needed, and now I'm thinking, because I saw the map where the refugees are coming in through Europe, it's coming through Austria, so we'll find out geographical points where it's needed. And also I'd just like to say a final thing here is that thoughts are power, our prayers do have an effect, so let's not forget that, and let's not be played by the media. Let's remember that. That's the important thing.
Thank you, Steve.
Absolutely. Thoughts become things.
Oh, that's great, Sherry. It's with the power of our thoughts. If we only really knew, this from like an early age, exactly how powerful our thoughts are. And now that we're older, it's a harder program to have to rewrite over what we've already learned, and to retrain our minds and our behavior to realize how powerful our thoughts are. And if anyone else does anyone else have a closing comment?
A real quickie. When I was on an airplane returning back from the Women's Peace Summit at the United Nations in Geneva, Switzerland in October of 2002, there was a young man from Israel. He was at the time in the Israeli army, and he asked me where I was coming back from, and I said, a World Peace Summit. He said, no, we can't have world peace. There's too much conflict. And I said, well, let me ask you something. If just say 25% of the people on the planet, or jump to 50 or 75%, if their thought and their belief was that we can have world peace, that we can work together, do you think that we would have world peace? And he kind of looked at me and said, yes. I do. So thoughts do become things.
Yes.
Yeah, we have
Very
to.
Powerful.
Everyone says think outside the box, and then I saw something. Sanjay, you have the greatest inspirational messages you find, and he always shares it with everybody, and they're really always very uplifting. And one came across my view online, and it was. People are trained to say, to think outside the box, but then there's other people who realize there is no box, only the ones we create for ourselves. So, with that, I'd like to say this is it for our 10th report, the GoldFish Report number 10. And we are promoting a humanitarian aid mission to help the refugees. And let's not let them go another day without some clean clothes on their back. And stay tuned for more direction on how you can help and be part of that too. And that's it for this episode of the GoldFish Report.
Thank you.
Thank you.